Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Success Builders. Today we have an awesome lady with us. Her name is Tonya Stout, and she is going to be laying it down today.
Laying
Uh,
it down, Ricardo.
yeah. Thank you for coming on to the show, Tonya. We are so excited to hear about you. Please tell us a bit about, you know, where you live now and a bit about your history and where you came from.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, first of all, how many people listening want to have be success builders, just like Ricardo's show? Dream bigger, build bigger. How many people that are listening, that is who you are. It's what you do. And so that's who we are and what we do as well. So my husband and I were from Music City, USA, Nashville, Tennessee. If you are country music fans or not, that is where we are. Songwriting's my background, and my husband's in corporate has been in corporate America. And so we took both of our careers. I've always been a creator economy, I would say, in the creator economy. And we've taken both of our skill sets and melted them together to help entrepreneurs, high impact entrepreneurs create. We always say craft, crush, and cash flow your message. We always say cash flow what you know, baby. So
That's
that is
right.
one thing we like to help people do so that they could there's an overflow of what you do, what you know, that you can cash flow.
That's right. That sounds really cool. And
Yeah,
love that you're from Nashville and love the music vibe over there. So do you play an instrument yourself?
I do. I play the guitar. And I've had songs recorded by Grammy Award winning artists, and I play the
Oh,
guitar. I've played at the Bluebird years, a lot of times and years in the past. But yeah, so songwriting, it's interesting because when people speak, there is a musicality to it.
that's
And
right.
I always say, some of the highest thought leaders, what you remember about what they said or a quote they've said, Ricardo, is how many of you remember quotes from, past presidents or a principal of your school or, an administrator or somebody at your workplace. There's these little zingers that people remember, much like a lyric of a song that lives long past them, long past the speech, long past the actual person is what's attached to them in something they said.
That's right. So your song almost becomes your evergreen content, something that keeps on hooking people back again and again because
Exactly.
they remember that particular jingle, right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
That's right. That's right. That's a great way to put it. You know how I always say, how sometimes when you have a cup of coffee and you fill it up and you drink the coffee and it's a white cup and then the coffee is done and you have a ring around the coffee cup
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's left over like it's stained. That is what your message is. It's like all this information was filled up in the coffee cup and you drank it, but there's a message that stays around it just like a ring.
That's right. No, that's a cool analogy. That's really awesome. So,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about your business journey, like how you got into doing what you're doing, and
Yeah. Oh,
that moment that first sparked for you that you decided, hey, this is for me.
yeah. Well, I always say, when you've been told by the world that you have to do it a certain way, you have to have this much schooling, you have to, I call it the indoctrination camp, where it's like the doctor of the nation, where they've told you to do all of these things. And then all of a sudden, you're 50 years old and you're thinking, why haven't I achieved what the world said I was going to achieve? Because I've been working hard. How many are listening who have worked hard all of their life, but you still feel like you can't get ahead? Or you've gotten ahead, but you don't have time. So there's always that shift, of thinking, I can't do this anymore. My husband and I would say we were successful is the word that I like to use. It's like, yeah, we were in the hustle and grind culture for too long. And we honestly discovered higher, not harder way to do our business. And that is what we show people, we guide people, because we believe that we're very much faith-filled people. So we always say we want on earth as it is in heaven. We want to live in a place where it is a peace and not the hustle and the grind and still not enough time or still not enough money in your bank. And so we made the transition into our current business, which is Conquerpreneur, again, helping you conquer your keynote message, helping you conquer and cash flow what you know so that others could experience what we have experienced.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more for the audience who don't know what it is? What do you mean by keynote message?
Yeah, so a lot of times there's keynote speakers. You go to a conference, I don't know if that's the same in New Zealand, but there's these events you go to, and there's speakers who speak on the stage who maybe are talking about engineering, or they're talking about their number one best-selling book. There's keynote speakers offline, just in the world, in buildings that you go to, but they're also online, which is, by the year 2028, this online space is going to be $1 trillion industry in the world. But it's an article by Goldman and Sachs. So we discovered that there is a psychology and integrity way to create sales, create whatever it is that you know. We always say you don't have to learn something new. You just have to be able to present what you already know so that you can have impact and income.
I love that impact and income. That is so on point. And
Yeah.
so basically what you're saying is that we what you do is you help people unlock their message, unlock their voice, and sell through speaking or sell through being on stage, basically.
Yes, and the stage can be virtual, just like what we're doing,
Yeah.
and it's not only do we help you unlock your message, but we help you monetize your message, which
Mm.
is key. I mean, how else can we give back to our world, give back to nonprofits, give back to things like your Samaritan,
Program, yeah.
purpose-driven things, purpose-driven businesses require profit from somebody. So we want to show people how to take your message and monetize it so that you can make a difference in the world.
That's right. And one key thing that I've come to learn is that you can't make a difference if you yourself come from a place of need, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like when you go on an airplane, the first thing they teach you to do is put your own oxygen mask on. And there's a reason for that. If you pass out, you can't help anybody else, right?
that's right.
So,
That's right.
if you refuse to put on the oxygen mask to, make yourself first strong, then, you're no good to the world. So,
Yeah,
staying in your current situation of, moderate to no success doesn't help anybody, you know.
that's right.
A lot of the times, like in movies, for example, they tend to make the villain a business person when entrepreneur,
Mm.
right? And it creates the message that, it's wrong to be a businessman, to be successful. But you know what?
Mm.
It's all those businesses that are giving to charities. It's all those businesses that are
That's
able to
right.
plant trees and are able to uplift communities and able to
That's right.
provide jobs for even people like you who are listening now, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And to piggyback to what you said, Ricardo, is and maybe you've heard this before, but how many of you have ever been in a place where there's a butterfly and you want to get you want, if you're a little kid, you're chasing the butterfly, but it's actually when we just sit still and put out our hand that the butterfly lands. And so that's how we teach as well, or guide people in monetizing your message. You lean out and the butterfly comes to you when when you're just still, right? Instead of chasing the butterfly, it's going to fly away. So you have to lean
Yeah.
out so that it comes to you. Yeah. And
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, the world will tell you that people who have money, they're just XYZ, or maybe you grew up. How many of you grew up in a way like you got to work hard for a living? And it's like, well, everybody I know
Yeah,
is working hard for a living, right? You have to hustle and grind, and we give honor to that. Absolutely. You can't be lazy for sure. But the hustle and grind, and, we always say money loves speed, right? Money loves speed. So quick action takers are the ones who are the money makers. It's the ones that sit around and try to decide, should I do this? Should I not do this? Are the ones who are still sitting to the side, frustrated because they didn't jump on decisions. Billionaires and millionaires are asking, what is the value and the return on investment? Not what is the cost. And so
that's right.
those are some of the keys that we guide people into shifting your mindset.
Yeah, because like what the wealthy generally do is they invest in something that's going to have a future much bigger payout. They don't just worry about what's going to pay out tomorrow or next week. They build with a future in mind, with a year vision, a 2 year, 3 year, 5 year vision. And some people even 10 year visions. Like think of all the companies that are involved in robotics today. Those robots didn't pop up overnight. Those
Right.
companies were established in 2014, and they
Yeah,
saw the future vision of humanoid robotics, and they started building it back in 2014. It's only hitting the media now, but they've been
that's right.
building this for many years. And
Yeah.
how many of you listening now actually would have the belief and conviction to build something for a massive $1 billion payout in 10 years' time? Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Me.
yeah, there we go.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what we teach, but obviously not with you know, um, a 10 year timeline, but
Mhm.
you know, um, through Tonya's program, it's something that you can build towards and actualize a lot quicker. And that's why I was really excited to get her here speaking to us. And the name of a program, Conquerpreneur, is so cool. And like
Thank you.
it just makes me think of the Spartans rallying into battle and like cool things like that. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Because really I always say we are more than conquerors, right? We aren't just survivors. We are called to conquer what's inside of our calling. And if you look inside of the word calling, it says all in,
That's so
CALLIN,
good.
and it ends in G. So if you are all in your calling, I like to say, how many of you, I don't know, is there football? New Zealand? Like, what's the sport
We do rugby
what's a
here.
big sport? Rugby. Okay, so let's say rugby. If you knew before you started watching that rugby game that who the winner was, if you already knew the team that won, when you recorded that game, when you watched it, you wouldn't be in angst because you already know who won the game. So
Exactly.
I always say, trust your not just intuition, but trust your win tuition.
Oh, that
Trust
is
your
laying
your
it
your
down. That's good.
you're right. I mean, so these are the little things, even these little one-liners. We teach you, we guide you in how to present these sort of things to people. Because if I heard somebody say, just trust your intuition, I'm probably not going to remember that, Ricardo. But when you say trust your win tuition, if you
Yeah, I'm not
already
gonna
know,
forget that.
you'll never forget it, right? It's going to follow me because that is my quote, that it's going to follow me in my name, but you're going to repeat what you heard, right? And so I always say, whatever your business is, whatever the 10 years ahead of you, knowing in your mindset you've already won, you're not going to do it in angst. You're going to do it with a knowing that you've already won the game. And so you just do it differently. You lean out. The oxygen's on you because you already know you won. And so that's what I love about your podcast and Success Builders. It's a legacy edition you have on there. And we like to say, live the legacy, leave the legacy, and light it up for somebody else, which is what Kevin, my husband, and I do in our Conquerpreneur company. We help you craft, crush, and cash flow your keynote message online, offline, in relationships. I mean, communication. We're always like, you probably hear the dogs barking, but in communication, you hear all of that. I'm so sorry. Can you hear
I can't
them?
actually
The
hear it. No, I
dogs.
can't actually hear it. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay. So anyway, that is a just a reframing of what if you go into it knowing that you want it, whatever the timeline is, you win. So
Oh, that's absolutely inspiring. Love that. And so, if someone wanted to enroll in your program or learn more about it, what would the next steps be?
yeah, so we have if you go to conquerpreneur.com/cashflow, you can get into our email database and you can come to one of our master classes that we do. And just our master classes are free because we want to teach people or show people how to not only create income but also impact and take their purpose into profit. And so Conquerpreneur, it's just the word conquer and then preneur.com/cash flow. And then once you get into our system, we have free downloads and different things that we like to help people along the way, even if they don't become a part of our program. And we like to bring people to Nashville, Ricardo, and have some country music up in here. We
That
have
sounds wonderful.
songwriters who come in, and again, so we have expert stations. So, I mean, when you leave us, you walk away with an offer and with your whole speech for anything. We always say once you understand how our program works, you could sell sawdust to a tree manufacturer. I mean, it's just one of those things that you can do. Even if somebody asked you the day before, you'd be ready.
That sounds wonderful. And I don't quite think they manufacture trees. I think those grow in the ground there.
Sure. Well, the people that chop them down and create stuff from them, I don't
Just
know,
pulling your leg there.
sawmills. Is that what they are? A
Yeah,
sawmill?
that's it. I was just joking around with you.
It's yeah, well, who knows these days? There could be manufactured somewhere,
Yeah,
somewhere, but
exactly.
but you get the gist.
Yeah, I
So
guess
yeah, like a sawmill factory where like you could sell sawdust to the sawmill factory, but even
that's
though
the
they have
one.
tons of it, I could still sell you some more because of what we teach in our program. And
That's
again,
cool.
it's from a place of integrity, because you're giving people really what they need that they don't even know they need.
That's right. And the power of communication can literally
Yeah.
change your life. And
Oh.
Tonya doesn't know this story, but I actually have a finding your voice story of my own, right? And I
Mm,
don't think I've even spoke about it on this podcast before. So when I was younger, when my grandfather died, I developed a speech problem. I actually had a
mm,
stutter in most of my high school career. Um, and I had a hard time speaking to people. I had to spell out every second word. Obviously, you can imagine I couldn't really go on dates or anything because I couldn't approach anyone. I couldn't even say my name, you know. But sometimes it just takes somebody believing in you to,
mm,
help you get out of your own head and to, believe in yourself just because that one person believed in you. And that for me was my wife.
mm,
Um, she didn't mind that I had a speech problem, and she even, used to f speak to me on the phone and listen to me spell out every second word, and
mm.
with no judgment, right? And then
Oh, love it.
that gave me the strength to essentially carry on and be who I am today, and
Mm,
then take that belief and through iteration practice. So I actually went into sales and went into
mm.
a call center and did 100 calls a day. And
Wow.
through practicing doing 100 calls a day, I got over my speech problem. But
Mm,
Fred, it had to start with someone believing in you first and giving you that framework. So
mm.
that's what Tanya's program does. She will believe in you for you and teach you that
Yeah.
you actually have something to offer the world and help unlock that message and unlock who you
Mm.
really are. So that is my personal story. It's a bit of a serious
Oh,
note. But yeah, that's my story.
Bravo.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. I mean, that's so, so beautiful and so, so true. You had somebody who believed in you. And I always say, if you don't have enough belief, like borrow my belief in you,
Yeah.
because we can borrow one another's faith, in the journey. And so, and again, here I go, Ricardo, but the word believe, smack dab in the middle of it is the word lie. So I
Okay.
always say, are you believing the lie about yourself? Are you being who God created you to be? Just the front of the word is be, leave. So you got to leave the lie and be. And so because you had somebody believe in you, such a beautiful story, Ricardo,
Thank you.
that look at you. I mean, you're doing a podcast for goodness sakes, you're asking me questions. And so I always say God will use your pain and turn it into purpose. So you're sitting here today with purpose. And it's not just you and me, it's one to many. How many of our ears that are listening to us, there could be somebody who has a stuttering problem or issue, or I like to say has an opportunity to conquer their stuttering, is the way that I would word that.
Love that.
And because of your story, we overcome by hearing somebody's testimony that they have courage and hope because you shared that story.
Thank you.
And so, yes, that's what we do.
Yeah, and I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. I mean,
Oh,
uh, anyone can do it because um, most people are able to speak already and don't have to get over that little hurdle of being able
yeah.
to speak properly. That's half your battle won. And the next step is just to learn confidence and to, believe in your own value and that you have something to offer the world. And just
Mm,
remember one thing, there is a saying that I heard recently is that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called.
that's right.
So,
Yeah.
um, you know, just trust that you will be given the strength and given the tools that you need, and that the right people, sometimes that doesn't come by divine intervention, that comes by just opening a door and putting the right people in front of you, like Tonya, for example, to help unlock that. You know, like Moses had his Aaron to speak for him, and then eventually he had the confidence to speak by himself.
That's right.
You know, we all have
Yeah.
to sometimes start with someone to help us on that journey and give us that little
Yeah.
belief and that little bit of a kick
That's right.
to get us
Little
going. Yeah,
kickstart.
little kickstart. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, look,
yeah,
and you know what, Ricardo, it is a decision. When we make the decision, even if we aren't believing, decision is cutting off it's an incision in all other options, and we decide on the one. So
yes.
we're taking a decision, we're cutting off all options, and we are deciding on the one that will take you to your destination.
Wow, that's super powerful. Love it. Absolutely love
Mhm.
it. And in closing today, do you have a final message for the audience?
Yeah, you know what? I always say, what is it that's stopping you? One of our mentors says that procrastination is the assassination to your destination, Eileen. And I like to say, blow off the dust of delay because your soul has something to say and it is going to pay.
That
So,
is fantastic. That's
yeah.
beautiful. And those are all points that can really grab attention. And that's what, I mean, I didn't even know until I had met you and our other community that, you can deliver your message much more powerfully through just structured wording. And everything that you're laying down today is actually fire. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. But it is, because some people will say that, well, that comes natural to you, or that comes naturally to you. I mean, just like you're speaking, you're overcoming, conquering stuttering, starts to rewire your mind, right? Rewired your brain. And so That is something we teach in these signature soundbite sessions where the quote is attached to you, Ricardo. And we teach a craft of how does my brain work to land that plane. So that's just one of the little things that we teach, and it is that words, I always say there is a wealth in your words, so learn how to use them. There is power of life and death in them, so learn how to use them well.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for sharing your wisdom and passion with us today. And
yeah.
it was beautiful meeting you. And again, audience, remember, if you want to get in touch with Tonya, we'll put some information in a link below.
Thank
So
you.
please check out the description. And yeah, let's make some impact. Let's make some impact and
Yeah,
income in the
let's
world.
do
Why
it.
not?
And also, I want to say yes, absolutely impact. That's what we're called to do inside of our calling, is to make impact and income. And we have a Facebook group, if you can put that in there too, because that's just a
Yeah, sure.
free Facebook group, and we drop little sizzle bites and fire sessions that are free so that people can learn along the way and be a part of our Conquer Club community. We also, my husband and I, do a podcast as well. So we'll put all of that in the notes. I'll give that to you. But I like when people can come into our free Facebook group and get tips along the way.
That's cool.
And it's Conquer and Cashflow, your keynote is our
Yeah.
Facebook group. But so
Yeah.
thank you
So,
for having me,
yeah,
Ricardo.
sure. Thank you for being on the show. And thanks, everyone. And please tune in for the next episode. Okay. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Ricardo.
Bye.